as moms, we are feeding people all day and serving and taking care of everyone. And when you go to mother's group, you have a chance to be taken care of. Today I have some tips and advice on how to start a Catholic mother's group. My first child was born in 2009, and at the time there was not a mother's group at our parish. But there was a mom who was interested in starting one, and she asked if I was interested in helping her. And I was, because I was really yearning to have fellowship with other moms and to learn from other moms. Because as a new mom, I had no clue what I was doing. I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm getting more and more confident as the years go by. But back then, I just was so eager to learn from other moms. And so I jumped at the chance to help this woman start a mother's group at our church. So she was the leader, and she asked me to help out with the prayer aspect of the group. So that's what I volunteered to do. And then she also had a third woman help, and she was in charge of hospitality. So she made sure that there was some food, and she even brought in some flowers for the table to make it pretty and homey. So the original leader led for about a year, and then she had to move her family across the country. And she was worried about the mother's group because she didn't want it to just disappear when she left. And so she asked if I was willing to take over. And I prayed about it, and I felt that God was calling me to do it, to step up and to lead. So to make a long story short, I ended up leading the mother's group at our church for 3 years. And I have some tips and advice here that I wanted to share with you in case you're interested in starting up a mother's group in your church. The first thing to think about is location. The obvious answer to that would be at your church. And if you have a room at your church that's available, that is perfect. If not, you could also do it at someone's home, or you could rotate homes. Sorry, I've got a sleeping baby on my lap. So you could do it at someone's home. You could rotate whose home you do it at. Those are my ideas for location. The second thing to consider is childcare. At our church, we are so blessed to have a nursery, and the church provides childcare for us. So they have missionaries and they also have a few hired babysitters, and they're the ones that watch the children for us so that we can have the meeting with just the moms. Although a lot of babies join us, and young children that don't want to be away from their moms join us, and that's totally fine. We're moms, we have children around all the time. But it is a great option to have childcare so that moms can have a little bit of a break and socialize with other moms. If you don't have childcare, then one option would be to hold your meeting in the evening so that the fathers can watch the children while the mothers get out to have their meeting. The last option for childcare, and this probably isn't ideal, but it's to bring a movie and to have a movie going in the room or in a side room so that you can watch the kids, and they can be having a movie while the mommies are chatting. The third thing to consider is formation. And by that I mean, what will you do during your meetings? How will you use this time to form yourselves as mothers and to build each other up? And I've got a few different ideas for that we've done over the years at our mother's group. One idea is to read the gospel together for the upcoming Sunday, so that way you are prepared and you've already heard it one time, because when I go to Mass, it's kind of hard to pay attention with all the kids. And so when I have already read the gospel and reflected on it, it just makes Mass, I get a lot more out of it. My other suggestion is to read a book together, and this book was a big winner for our group. It's called A Book of Saints for Catholic Moms by Lisa Hendey. And it is a really good book, and it really lends itself well to a Catholic mothers group. It has, it just goes over the saints' life and then lessons from their life that apply to mothers. And there's also a prayer for each day. Oh, there's also activities for mom and with children. So those are kind of like resolutions, and we would do this in our group. We would talk about the resolutions, and then the next week we would talk to each other about what we did and how the resolution went, inspired by the saint. So it was just a really neat way to bring the lives of the saints into our home, and I really like this book. We actually went through it a couple times because it was so good, and new moms would be joining the group all the time. So it was just something that really lent itself well to our group. Kind of to go along with this book, one of the moms, she got really into it, and she actually ordered a bunch of prayer cards, and she ordered them from catholicprayercards.org. She would ask me in advance which saints we would be doing in the upcoming months, and then she would order the saint card, the holy card, to pass out to all the moms on the day that we were reading about that person. It was just a really neat way to celebrate the lives of the saints, and then we all got to bring the cards home and remember them. I would set them by my kitchen sink so that I could look at them and be reminded, and just to ask for their prayers. So that's another little idea. One thing to consider with doing a book for the formation aspect of your meeting is that not all moms have time and energy to read books outside of the meeting. So for us, this book worked perfectly because we could read it inside the meeting. And I found that that worked really well because then mothers felt like they could come anytime and they didn't feel like they had homework to do outside of the meeting. And it also made it so that each meeting was self-contained. So if a mom couldn't come one week, she didn't feel like she was missing out, and she could just pick back up when she could, when her schedule allowed for that. So that's just something to consider, not having outside reading as part of the requirement of being in the mothers group. Another idea for the formative part of the meeting is to pray the Rosary together. I found this Mother's Bouquet Rosary meditation. It's on Amazon, and it looks a lot better than this. They redid the style of the book. But the funny story with this book is that at Mother's Group, someone accidentally threw this in the garbage, and it got coffee grounds all over it, or coffee stains on it. And we just laughed about it because we're like, this is just like motherhood. Like, it's such a mess. And so we thought it was really funny. But the meditations in here are amazing. Every time I read them, it's like a new insight into motherhood in particular. So every mystery of the Rosary has just a really good meditation on how it relates to motherhood. Even if you're not in a mother's group, I would recommend getting this just for your personal prayer because it is really, really good. Something else you could do for formation is to invite speakers to come to the meeting and give a presentation on a topic. So a couple weeks ago, we had a mom come, and she's actually the NFP teacher, the Natural Family Planning teacher for our parish. And she came and gave a presentation to the mothers, and that went really well. So just, you could try to find people in your community that are experts on a topic, and then they could come in and give a presentation. My last idea is to have a roundtable discussion where you just bring up a question on parenting or motherhood or the faith or marriage. Any of those things are great. And you have a discussion about that during your meeting. And this is a great time to get advice on things that you're struggling with in your life from other moms. Having discussions is really great, especially when it is prior to a feast day that's coming up, and that is a great way to get different ideas from other moms of what they do in their homes to celebrate Christmas, Easter, what they do during Lent, all of that. As a new mom, I didn't know what to do in my home and how to bring the faith into my home, and I learned so much by going to Mother's Group and learning from other moms. The fourth area to consider when you're planning a Mother's Group is food, and this is so important. I actually have a funny story about this. Before we had really yummy food at our meetings, not many people came. It was usually about 5 to 8 moms would come on average. But after I invited another mom who food is her love language, making food for people, I invited her to be the coordinator for food and hospitality. And after I did this, she set the bar really high and would bring like a full spread, a buffet table, and then she did it a couple times, and then she had other moms sign up to do it too, but they followed suit and they brought really yummy food for all of us to share. And after the food element was brought in, attendance went way up, and now I'd say between 15 and 20 moms come every week. And I know it isn't just the food, but that helps. And I was thinking about it. I think that that's because as moms, we are feeding people all day and serving and taking care of everyone. And when you go to Mother's Group, you have a chance to be taken care of by other moms, and obviously you're taking turns doing it, and so the burden isn't on any one person. And when it's your turn to make the food, you do it, and it's kind of stressful bringing the food, but when it isn't your turn, you get to go and enjoy and have yummy food and good conversation with other moms and take a little break. So I think that that's why the food really helps, and it makes the moms excited to come. That kind of leads me to my last topic here, is to have a team to help you. So I'd say have one person be the leader and then another person to handle the food and the hospitality. And then also having just a backup leader is really nice, especially when you have sick kids or you're sick or something comes up and you're not able to make the meeting. Then you can call your backup and she can take over the meeting for you that week. Okay, I've got 2 more suggestions. One is to have a ministry card, and by that I mean it's like a business card, and it has the information on it of when the meeting is and what time, where it's at, what day, all the information. And then you have it in your bag when you go to Mass and you see a new mom that you don't know. You can invite her to come to Mother's Group and just hand her the card. Because I would always be trying to invite people to come, and I wouldn't have a pencil or paper for them to write down the information. But having this card makes it so easy to invite people and to be really welcoming. And I think that it's just a great way to reach out to moms in the parish who might just be going to Mass on Sunday and they don't know how to get involved. And when you see them and hand them a card, it really adds to the hospitality of just the church in general. My very last piece of advice is to invite moms of all ages to come and join your group. This is really important, I think, because then we can all be learning from each other, and it helps give us connections to moms that have been through it, and they might be on the other side. They might have adult children, and they can give so much wisdom to the new moms. And so I like to try to encourage moms who you know, no matter what age their kids are, they can come and be a part of the group. It isn't just for moms with toddlers. So there you have it. Those are my pieces of advice. I hope they were helpful to you. And I'm curious, are you part of a mother's group, or have you started one or just participated in one? If you have any advice that I didn't say, please leave them in the comments below so that other people can find your suggestions. I hope you have a great day. God bless you. Bye.